So, what did I learn? I'm sure a lot of you watched Yu-Gi-Oh! As a kid. I mean that Season 1's 4Kids tub is a national treasure. But for many people, that is the extent of their knowledge. But for me, I watched the Duologues, great channel by the way. So I might as well be a pro that knows everything about the game. Except what the fuck is a Link Summon? So the biggest thing I learned is that the story decks are dog shit. I mean, you probably knew that. Everybody and their moms know those decks are dog shit. But man, are they way worse than I remember. Just absolutely filled with low attack, no effect monsters. They had to keep alive so you can tribute summon a low attack, no effect monster. And just having to use gimmicky, bad spell and trap cards. To be fair, sometimes you do get to play with a deck that has a Pot of Greed or a Giant Trunade, or just a good card in general. Before I get more into a long-winded rant, let's just recount my journey. So, our first duel of the game is against Joey, and we absolutely trash him. Cause one, this is a tutorial in which I'm pretty sure it's impossible to lose it because the game forces every single move. And two, Joey doesn't know how to play the fucking game yet, so his best friend is just trashing him in a game he doesn't know how to play. So, easy first match. Next we have the Kaiba duel. And I'm not gonna lie, I lost the first duel against him, because the only cards I drew that match were pieces of Exodia and tribute monsters. He was also able to get his blue eyes on the field instantly, and Yugi has no cards that can beat over that. And I didn't pull like a single Mirror Force or anything, so I had no counters. So I had to duel him again, but it went a lot better the second time. I don't even know how I ended up with this many monsters on the field, but with all these guys, I was able to pull out the win. Next is a duel I really struggled with. The duel against Panic. So the first duel I thought was going pretty well. On my first turn I was able to summon Gaia the Dragon Champion, but it turns out Panic has like 100 copies of Sakuretsu Armor and Mirror Force, and with Yugi's deck, I don't think there was a card that could actually remove spell or trap cards. So after a few attempts, I got really annoyed, so I decided to use one of the basic structure deck, because I was getting so mad how shit Yugi's cards were. Then with that deck, I beat him like 5 minutes, and half the time, I was just reading the card effects, just to make sure what they do. Though, I do wish I did beat him with a story deck, because I do think it is fun to win with the bad cards, but I can't pull the bullshit of his Darkness Castle falling and killing all of his monsters or whatever the fuck happened in the anime. So I'll just take that dub. After that, I kinda breezed through the rest of Duelist Kingdom. The rest of the duels were first try victories and not even close. The next duel I lost was against Pegasus, and I only lost because I misclicked and flip summoned Catapult Turtle. The next duel against him went pretty easy. I got my Summon Skull on the field and equipped it with the horn of the unicorn, and then just whittled him down until I won. I did manage to draw every copy of Black Magician Chaos, and I thought that was just kinda funny. Then next, we were off to Battle City, and every duel went pretty smoothly here as well. I didn't get Michaeled by the Seeker, so that's good. I baited String so hard and used Magic Cylinder to deal 10,000 damage to him. It was all good until the end of Battle City, where there were two duels that I took a few tries on. First duel was against Odion, and it took me 3 attempts to beat him. The first 2 duels were really just me figuring out what all of his cards did. Then I figured out Joey had Jinzo, and this is important for 2 reasons. One, pretty much Odion's entire gimmick is having trap cards to turn into strong monsters. And 2, Jinzo's effect makes it so no trap cards can be activated. Since I was able to get Jinzo on my first turn, he never really got a chance to set up his board. However, he did eventually remove my Jinzo with the Soul Exchange, but by that point I had a 1,000 Years Dragon on the field, so his 800 attack trap monsters didn't really matter. But what did scare me was he summoned Mystical Beast of Circuit, which had 100 more attack than 1,000 Year Dragon, so he could have beaten over it easily, but I'm actually not sure why, but it lost 400 attack the turn it was set on the field, so I was safe for that turn. But I was still nervous because his monster's attack went back up and I didn't have anything to defend myself, but then he did this. To summon the Ring Dragon of Ra, he used one of his trap monsters to circuit and with Soul Exchange my 1,000 Year Dragon. After setting another face down monster and ending my turn, he placed down another monster and that's where he made 2 more mistakes. The first was obviously going against me. I mean, he won the last 2 duels, but that doesn't fucking matter. And the second was I had Magical Arm Shield lying in wait for this very moment. He flipped over his face down monster to try to attack my own, but in doing so he activated my trap card. And what it does is that when he declares an attack, I can take one of his other face-up monsters and have them take the hit for me, and any damage done is inflicted upon him since it's his monsters. And due to Ra's effect, he only had 100 life points remaining, so I basically watched him bend himself over and fuck his own ass. And then I won. But we're not out of the clear yet. The second duel I struggled with was against Ishtar. Now, the first duel against her, I just got super unlucky because the only cards I drew were Thunder Dragon, Blue Eyes, and Obelisk, which are all monsters that require tributes, so I just surrendered. Game 2 went a little bit better, but I kept running into the issue that half of Kaiba's deck is fucking level 5 or higher monsters, so I was never able to get enough monsters to stop Ishtar from stalling until she got the card she wanted. In Duel 3 and 4 were the exact same as the first one. Then I got upset and used the basic structure deck, and then I won pretty easily. I did make one huge misplay though. I thought I had a Mystical Space Typhoon in my hand, which destroys one spell or trap card, but I actually had Dark Hold, which destroys all monsters on the field, which is probably the last thing I wanted because I would have won next turn. I beat her in the end, but I should probably actually read the cards before I use them, but to be fair, they do look kinda similar. It doesn't make me any less of a dumbass though. But now, we finally come to the final arc. And again, all the battles were easy except for 2. And I'm gonna spoil a little bit. Both of them frustrated me so bad that I used a user deck on them. So let's see how those duels went. The first one was against Valen. Now this duel, I was just trying to figure out how his desk box works because I got a bad first hand. Though I did try to cheese him with Time Wizard, but I accidentally set it instead of summoning it, so I couldn't activate its effect, so I just had to surrender. Duel number 2, I knew beating him would be a problem, because at this point I haven't seen a single card that could deal with Despot 1. Then duels 3, 4, 5, and 6 went by. I tried using the Premade Synchro and Xyz decks for these battles, but I was just getting further away. So I finally built my own deck. Now I don't really know how to build a deck, but I know when a card is good, so I took some good cards, got monsters and spells that synergized with the good cards, then went into the battle. Now I'll admit, he did have me on the ropes at the start of the duel, but then the dumb bitch didn't think I had a Mirror Force, so I was able to wipe out most of his board and set up mine, which almost got me the win that turn, but I just attacked the next turn and won anyways. This took me a few tries, mostly because I was just experimenting with Synchro and Xyz summoning, because I've never done either before, so I was just making sure I knew the finer details of both. But I still don't know what the fuck a Link Summon is. Now, we have the final duel of this arc. Now let me tell you, Darts is a little bitch. It's like he knows Yugi's cards suck ass. So he has Alexandrite Dragon and Gene Warped Warwolf, which are both level 4 2000 attack monsters, but with the Seal of Orichalcos, they are bumped up to 2500. And they will just crash into Summon Skull because this bitch knows he can easily get another 2500 attack monster on the field. It's pretty much impossible to keep any monsters on the field, and Big Shield Gardna does not count because that card sucks ass. So, after a few duels of losing, I went to the gamer deck and now was ready. And well, it was really easy. I didn't lose a single life point, was never stressing about anything. I think this really does show how shit the story decks are, because my deck isn't a good deck. It's not a good deck at all, but I wiped the fucking floor with darts the second I switched to a kinda real deck. Well, now we're reaching the end of this video, but there is still one duel left. And I think you know which one, because it's literally the only duel left. That's right, it's duel against Yama Yugi. So let's dive right in. So the first thing I do is obviously use Pot of Greed, then I use Gold Sarcophagus to banish Silent Magician so I can get him in my hand later. Then I set Marshmallow face down and end my turn. Yami draws and plays Dark Magician Curtain, and by paying half his life points, he summons his ever-faithful companion, Dark Magician. I'm not worried though, because as long as I have Marshmallow on the field, he cannot attack me directly. And at this point, I'm just waiting for Silent Magician to be put in my hand. The next turn, that happens. Then I use the level up card to level him up to Silent Magician level 8, and with my own Magician, I destroy Yami's. He is now at a mere 1700 life points, and things are not looking good for him. But now, he's trying to stall, so he can get a card to turn the game around. He turns all of his monsters into defense mode, and activates Swords of Revealing Light. And also, I forgot I can read again, and missed that Silent Magician is actually immune to spell cards. So I could have been attacking his defense monsters this entire time, but I wanted a good fight, definitely not because I couldn't read or anything. So, to take a quick break from Yami stalling me out though, for me, I thought it was actually pretty cool because the AI was taking a lot of time to make their moves, and it really did make me feel like I was playing against somebody. It's just like a nice little touch, whether it was intentional or not. It might just be that good at the AI struggling to make a move against me, but let's get back. Now that swords finally ran out, I finally get to attack, but I make a big brain play here. Mirror Force destroys all attack position monsters, so before I attack, I change Buster Blader to defense just in case he has a Mirror Force, just so I can have a monster on the field in case they get destroyed. And it turns out, I'm a fucking genius. I finally learned how to read, and read my opponent like an open fucking book. But now, I'm not actually in the best spot because he was able to get his Dark Magician back with an attack boost because he had an equipped spell card. So I had to start making some plays. Luckily I draw a Monster Reborn, so I can bring back Silent Swordsman. Unfortunately, I couldn't bring back Silent Magician because that card can only be summoned by the level up card. I'm still chipping away at his defense monsters and Yami's still trying to stall. And he's able to get another Dark Magician on the field, so I kinda start getting the same idea. In case he gets a really strong card, i.e. like Obelisk or something, I start placing a lot of monsters in the event that I need a stall. But it does seem his stalling pays off, because he is able to summon Obelisk the Tormentor. Now, I am unsure of how I will win. To make everything worse, he uses Obelisk effect to destroy Marshmallow, my only defense against it. So now I'm just hoping I can get something that can get me out of the tool, so now I'm the one stalling. But then a gift from the gods. Swords of Revealing Light. Now, I have a plan. I just need to get 2 monsters on the field, so I can tribute summon Gandora, the Dragon of Destruction. And when I place this card, I won. Except, I shit myself here because I accidentally ended my turn instead of attacking him. So if he draws a monster with 1700 or more attack, I lose. But he didn't. And I finish him off with my Silent Magician, putting an end to this campaign. So what did I learn? In all honesty, playing with these shitty decks is actually pretty fun. You get some serious anime moments while playing this game. Your board just got wiped out by your Mirror Force, and they got their strong monsters on the field. Your next draw is your last, but then you draw Swords of Revealing Light. You instantly slap that shit down. You draw again, it's just a regular normal monster, not anything that can help you win the game. But then on your last draw, you draw a Polymerization card. And with that, you summon Gaia, the Dragon Champion. So you summon it, and you just end up winning the duel. The duels like that is what makes the game for me. Sure, you can build your own deck and absolutely fuck everyone in the ass with it, but I don't know. I personally don't find that fun. Winning isn't really fun unless it is well earned, or you completely fucking cheese it and is the most undeserved victory of all time. So, what did I learn? Definitely not how to fucking Link summon.